right, so good morning and happy National Random Acts of Kindness Day. So please today, go outside, go to your neighbors and find something to do for them. Go to your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, random person. Do something kind for somebody today. Not that we shouldn't do this every day, but today is a day to be intentional about it. So what you guys are going to do today is take a look at what happens with muscle fatigue. So remember that we've been looking at our marathon runner, and we watched the video and we saw all those runners like stumble across the finish line because their muscles just like gave out. They couldn't hold them up anymore. They were taken off in wheelchairs. Like they just had that severe fatigue in their muscles. So we can't make you run a marathon. So we're going to simulate that in a different activity. And then what you guys are going to do is you're going to start to think about how you could actually do an investigation to test exercise, okay? So the first thing that you're going to do is to open up this muscle fatigue activity. I did push it out to you yesterday, but you didn't have to do it on the snow day. I was just kind of organizing things. So you'll need a timer. You can use your phone or clock or whatever kind of stopwatch thing that you have. You're going to snap your fingers for a minute, and while you're snapping, you're going to count, okay? And don't stop. You can't change fingers. You can't, once you decide which hand you're going to snap with, you're always going to use that hand. So you count where you're going, record that number as your first attempt. Once you've recorded that number, don't rest, just record your number, and then you're going to do it again, counting again, starting from 1, and see what happens with the second time, okay? And then what you should feel is some fatigue in these muscles, right? So think about what's hurting, why it's hurting, what's going on. And you'll just answer questions 1 through 4 here. This is just to get you started thinking about muscles, what happens when we use them a lot, and why might that be happening, okay? But we can't really collect a lot of data around that besides just qualitative like feeling. We're not, you shouldn't be getting short of breath, your heart's not going to speed up, those sorts of things. The diagrams at the end are just to put this into perspective for you. The first picture is of the whole body. So these are the muscles throughout the whole body. And then this one, I just always get fascinated every time I see it. Each line that's there represents a different muscle. So these are all the different muscles. This is the lower part of your leg. This would be the kneecap. And then these are the muscles that make up the front of the leg. And then some of these labels are pointing to muscles along the back of the leg too. So it's just really fascinating to me that we have that. Down here is where you have the microscopic image of skeletal muscle. You guys did see muscle when you looked at those microscopic images that we were looking at at the beginning of this unit, okay? So this is what you'll do first. Then what you're gonna do is come over to this activity where you're gonna look at what happens with exercise. So you're going to look at, this is the guiding question. So question number 1 is referring to this and thinking about our marathon runner again. How does this kind of relate to the marathon runners collapsing and our marathon runner, the woman who went into the coma at the end of the race, okay? Then what you're gonna do is watch this video. As you do this, you're gonna edit this picture, all right? So when you click edit, you can move water droplets in here. So the water are the blue circles, the red are the BTB, and the yellow is carbon dioxide. So when you're watching the video, pause it about halfway through and modify your model for what's happening in the beaker. They have a beaker, we do flasks. Okay, normally we would do this in class. This year we can't because we're not going to have everybody taking off their masks and breathing through straws. But once you put things into the flask, they're not going to leave. So if I put 2 water droplets in here to start with, obviously there's more than that, but if I start with 2 dots, I have to have 2 dots each time unless I'm adding more water, and then I would add more. But you'll see in the video they don't ever take out anything, so once you put it in there, it's going to always stay. All right? So these are movable. You'll create your model. Also label the colors of the flasks as you go. This one you'll see starts off really bright blue. This one will be kind of a green, greenish yellow, and then at the end it will be a bright yellow. Finally, what I want you to do is just list a couple of things that you think you could do here. What would be some like general exercises and things we could do to test exercise and cellular respiration. You're going to do this finally with your group, but I want you to go ahead and write a question for an exercise that you want to do. And then when you get into your groups on Friday, you can like narrow it down to the one from whatever the three of you have kind of thought about ahead of time. The data that we're going to collect will be our breathing rate and our heart rate. When you've done exercise in the past, you should have noticed that you get short of breath because you're breathing so quickly, and you have to do more breathing when you're exercising, and then even when you're done, you're short of breath. And then same thing with your heart rate. So we'll measure your heart rate by taking your pulse. You can do it in your wrist or in the side of your neck, whichever is easier for you. So I do want you to make a prediction about how you think your exercise, because there's lots of different exercises, and how they might affect the breathing rate and the heart rate. Know that there are differences in types of exercises. So there's things that are aerobic versus anaerobic, more strenuous than others. So you can maybe choose one along that spectrum and kind of see what would happen. This is where we'll start on Friday, where we will then do a real quick write-up of your investigation plan and think about how we're going to collect that data and what we're going to do with that. And then we'll go down to the gym and actually collect your data. Okay? So that's what you guys need to get done today on Wednesday. And if you get stuck or have questions, jump on the open office hours at the end of the day, and enjoy your Wednesday.